Hello, welcome to the Turret of Pleasure here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. I'm your host, I'm the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom, Zipgun, and you may have noticed that it's dark in here. That's because the power that surrounds us that cannot be mentioned has turned off the power. We don't know why, perhaps it's because of the Queen's funeral. We, of course, recognize only the Empress Hermione as Queen. So we aren't participating, but we've been left in the dark for the day. So I can't really talk about music. I can't really play any music, but so I got to talk about something different today. It's been on my mind. Did you know that at least from the research I've been able to do, none of which I can call up because the computers are all down, that you cannot actually buy an actual, real, honest to God Mexican beer in British Columbia. Nor can you find a real, honest to God Japanese beer in British Columbia. And I've been discovering this the hard way with a lot of different beers. For example, Stella Artois, despite saying Belgium on it, is in fact made now in Edmonton. And I found this out during the holidays when the Empress bought a case of this for company. And of course, like all beer that you buy for company, you have to have at least one of them. And so I snuck one. And it was awful. And I was like, whoa, what is this? This is not Stella Artois. And then I looked at the incredibly fine print on the can with my illuminated magnifying glass. Yes, I had to use this thing. And it said, made by Labatt's in Edmonton. Sorry, Molson in Edmonton, I think it is. And I'm going to get some of these slightly mixed up. But suffice to say that Stella's no longer coming from Belgium. And Sapporo and Asahi and Kirin are not coming from Japan. And Corona and Modelo and Dos Equis and even Pacifico are not coming from Mexico, which is really annoying. And they never really made a big announcement when this all happened. Like, for instance, when Stella rolled over to Molson, nobody said anything. The liquor stores didn't say, now made in Canada, like some kind of boast, because that wouldn't be a boast, because you see, they didn't drop the price. Isn't that funny? So now, and the Empress recently, oh, look, they had Coronas in tins on $3 off. $3 off the regular import price for Mexican beer. Was it bat's piss? Oh my God. I think we might still have one in the fridge. It will be the last beer standing. This is frustrating. I like my beer to be the way it was when I was in the country when I tried it in the first place. Well, mercifully, Pilsner Urquell still comes from the Czech Republic. Heineken still comes from Holland. And there's a lot of the German beers still come from Germany, not Lowenbrau. Do not be fooled by those tall Lowenbrau cans. It's Labatt's. It's no good. I mean, it's great if you like Labatt's. If you really like Blue and Canadian, but you want people to think you're a little bit sophisticated, spend the extra money on the Canadian that's wrapped in the Heineken or in the Lowenbrau wrap, because that's essentially what it is. And it's something about the Canadian mega breweries. There's something in their beer. You can tell it. It's a skunky kind of thing. Maybe it's a heading agent. I don't know. But you can, it's just, the second I tried that Stella, I knew it was a Canadian beer. The second I tried that Corona the other day, I knew it was a Canadian beer. Here's a really weird one. Okay. So, my young friend, the mysterious, Reed, God, why can't I remember? He's so mysterious, I can't remember his name. My young friend Reed up the road has just turned of age. He's 19. He can drink legally and eat Japanese food legally. And so he has discovered Japanese food and beer. And in an attempt to provide him with some informed guidance, I've been kind of trying to lead him down what's a good beer and what isn't. So we were out having some excellent local Japanese, Korean style Japanese food at our local place, the Hara Sushi people here in Suit. Shout out to them. They're great, wonderful people, and they make really good sushi. And like every sushi restaurant in the known universe, they have a selection of Japanese beers. So young Reed says to me, "Well, what's a good one?" And I go, "Well, they're all pretty good. Let's see if we can get one that's actually made in Japan." So we asked for the Sapporo. Strike one there. Sapporo is now, of course, made in Edmonton by Labatt's, I believe. Okay, can we try a Kirin, please? Well, this particular Kirin seemed to be made in the States by Anheuser-Busch. Well, I guess Asahi, because I figured there's no way Asahi couldn't be made in Japan. So we get the Asahi, and as is our custom, he pours out a little bit for me to taste it, so I can, because he's not used to this. And I taste it, he tastes it, and I go, he goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "Well, it's not Japanese beer, but it's pretty good. I don't mind it." "What is it?" "Okay, time for the can." We inspect the can, and this is really interesting because Asahi beer sold where we live in British Columbia, which is the area that surrounds the Enchanted Kingdom. The Asahi beer here is actually made in Rome by Peroni, which strikes me as odd because, if I'm not mistaken, Rome is further away from here than Tokyo is. So rather than have real Asahi beer, which tastes completely different, there's a couple of videos you can see. There's one with a real cute Japanese girl. She tries Sapporo from Japan and Sapporo from Canada, and they come up with a bunch of conclusions that I don't necessarily agree with. But the Canadian beer tastes like Canadian beer. It doesn't have anything to do with Japanese beer. And I don't know why this is... Like, I think part of the problem is that Canadian beer is so lousy, because it's not very good, in my opinion. All taste the same. That people went to import beer. And when the import beer started selling too well, the Canadian beer company simply went to the import beer companies in their respective nations and said, "Sell us the license. We'll give you a whole bunch of money." And it was still cheaper than watching their profits erode from the import beer thing. So we are now in the rather unenviable position of probably, I'm going to guess, half of, well, certainly out of all the quote-unquote import beers sold here, got to be 60% of them are actually made in Canada. Therefore, they're not import beers, but you're still paying the import prices. So there you go. That's my pet peeve for today. And it goes into other things as well, like cars. You know, when you buy a car, what are you buying? You buy a Chevy Aveo, but you're actually buying a Suzuki. No, but actually it's a Daewoo. So the idea that you can just put a badge on something that makes it better. The other video you want to watch is the one about Mexican Coke, because Mexican people don't even drink Mexican Coke. Mexican Coke is now some kind of specialty item made out of a real sugar instead of whatever it is, the high fructose corn syrup. And it's Coke for hipsters, but that doesn't sound good. So now it's Mexican Coke. And on and on. We're being sold a pack of lies. So if you want real Japanese beer, if you can tell the difference, that is. If you can't, bon appetit. You might as well just buy whatever is the cheapest thing in the liquor store, made by Molson, because it's going to taste the same. Anyways, that's it. When the power comes back on, we'll play some more music. Take it easy. Look after each other. Don't take any wooden nickels. And don't forget to hit the subscribe and the notification button. And maybe I'll do some more videos on things that have nothing to do with music. Anyway, take it easy. Bye.